Let's start. Q Jump, 2021, 1-2. Page 59 Number 1. Dear Editors. This will be my last message of the year as Chief Editor of our journal. 2018 has been an interesting year in many ways, and I am so proud of all the accomplishments we have made this year. 2018. There is no doubt that the journal is now more widely read and cited. However, we need to push the journal to greater limits. We have to address the issue of publication costs. They are constantly going up. As I have written several times in the past, please promote to our contributors the electronic journal as much as possible. It will save us a lot of money, and the publication house a lot of time, effort, and paper. I am very confident that your cooperation will take our journal towards new and sustainable growth. Thank you. Sincerely, Robert Jansen. Robert Jansen. Page 59 Number 2. No one could deny, once they've given it any thought at all, that women are responsible for the majority of consumer purchases. The proof is in the numbers. Women account for roughly 80% of all consumer buying. 80. The Center for Women's Business Research indicates that businesswomen, working women and female entrepreneurs, are the primary decision makers in households, making 95% of the purchasing decisions. 95. To be more specific and drive home that point, women are responsible for 70% of all travel decisions, 57% of all consumer electronics purchases, and they buy 50% of all new vehicles, influencing 80% of overall automobile sales. 70, 57, 80, 50. Finally, women write an estimated 8 out of 10 personal checks in the United States, making their financial power even greater. Women in most households today not only control the spending of their own paychecks, but a good deal of their husbands as well. Page 60 Number 3. Imagine holding a set of directions in your memory while driving. If a billboard advertisement catches your attention, it may invade your mental workspace and cause you to forget these directions. The same thing may happen if an unrelated thought suddenly comes to mind. Information in working memory fades away unless it is refreshed. Maintaining information in your short-term memory requires a lot of attention. The more you are able to focus on task-relevant information and ignore distractions, the better your memory performance will be. Irrelevant thoughts that enter your mental workspace and divide your focus may lead to information overload and ultimately errors. Page 60 Number 4. Successful learning is possible only if experiences and knowledge are synthesized with new information received in the courses. It means that in the teaching-learning process the student group community is primary, for it is they who play the main role, not the teacher. Students' activity is one of the most significant requirements toward the training. Spontaneous activity is created in group or teamwork in cooperation with others in a constant exchange of information and the shaping of common opinions. To develop the ability of group cooperation in group work, starting with the experiences of the students participating in training, it is important to analyze and discuss problems together, to set up alternatives, and to give reasons for the decisions reached. In this case the teacher has to help or assist only, and should not give solutions. Education should be basically student-centered. We have to make the student responsible for his own development in the teaching process. Page 61 Number 5. Negativism isn't a philosophy, it's an attitude. It's the attitude of a player whose nerves aren't as strong as he'd like them to be. Attitudes can be changed, but first they have to be recognized. It's quite common for a player to think to himself, I don't want to boot this ground ball, or I don't want to walk this batter. ... The word don't will not get through to the body. Don't. The word carries no functional image. The phrase boot this ground ball does bring forth an image. The expression of a negative goal will therefore emphasize an undesirable image, and the error or the walk is more apt to be made. The body tends to do what it hears most clearly, the mind tells the body what it sees most clearly. So, Thinking about what you don't want to happen greatly increases the chance that it will happen. Page 61, number 6. Think of a large bucket of water with a tiny hole in the bottom. Water drips out, a tiny bit, with each drip. You know that the surface of the water in the bucket is going down, even though you can't see it moving. You know that because each of those tiny drops is taking away a tiny bit of water, a negligible amount on its own, but over time many drops will add up to something noticeable. Now picture an 8-year-old boy. Measure his height one day to the next and you won't notice a difference, but you know that over time he gets taller. Thinking of the water and the boy at the same time is comparing two parts of common sense most people don't think of at the same time. They share the idea of tiny, unnoticeable changes adding up to something significant over time. Page 62, number 7. Other people are by far the most interesting things in the world of the baby. Research shows that infants are fascinated by faces from birth. Indeed, there is a specialized brain system for face processing, which seems to function in the same way in infants and adults. Experiments with neonates and young infants show that faces are always preferred over other stimuli, particularly live, mobile faces. The eyes are especially interesting. Newborn infants prefer to look at faces with eyes gazing directly at them. They dislike looking at faces with eyes that are averted. Babies also react negatively to a still face, an experimental situation in which the mother deliberately suspends interaction with the baby and just looks blank. Presented with a still face, babies become fussy and upset and look away. The still face, maternal unresponsiveness, also causes elevated levels of the stress hormone cortisol in some babies. The end. Good job.